This conference will now be recorded.
What did you say, Liz?
I'm working on them.
Working on it.
And, okay, July 18th. You have those?
I do. They were sent out.
They've been, ours been sent out. Have they been approved? Okay, they have not been approved by the board. That's written. Do I have a motion to approve?
Okay, great, thanks.
I make a motion, we approve the minutes of July 18th.
Second?
I'll second.
Okay. Since they've already been sent out, I guess we're ready. August 2nd. Where do we stand on those?
This was sent out also.
They've been sent out.
I'll make a motion to accept August 2nd minute.
I'll second it. And we also had the minutes for the organizational meeting. And
I make a motion, we accept the minutes of the special meeting. Special organizational meeting.
we have a motion, we have a second.
Okay.
Dennis, thank you. Okay. Moving on, next is treasurer's report. Gail, did you want to make announcements?
Oh.
Okay.
Report for the month of July. Our HOA had expenditures of $19,783.62. This included normal utility bills, officer and committee budget reimbursements, along with payments to ANS Tree Landscaping. They removed 4 trees, trimmed 3, and cleaned up of the areas. Cumberland County Community Complex, the rental fee for July social. Grow with the flow, monthly mowing of the common areas. They did 4 cuts in July. They completed common area landscaping work that Gary Baroni had set up with them. And then we paid out Marty Fish for phase 6 sidewalk concrete work. We finished the month with balances of $1,899.53 in the checking account and $194,795.92 in the savings account. That also includes the $31,702.90 that is obligated for the financial reserve account. So far in this fiscal year, 25-26, we have received 93.1% of our budgeted income and spent 27% of our budgeted expenses. Lot count for July, we ended up with 211 improved lots, 23 unimproved, 4 under construction, and the developer still has 5 lots. Any questions on that? I think Sherry you plan on attaching the complete budget to the minutes?
Considering you talked so quickly, yes.
Okay. Very good.
I move we accept the report under subject to audit.
Second.
Dennis, second. Approved. Thank you, Gail. Do we have any other committees present that we're going to give a report? Buzz, you have anything?
Not really. You guys want to talk about the sidewalks and
Eventually, yeah.
I don't have anything.
Okay, thank you. The committee reports, then whatever been turned into you will be attached to the minutes and they go out.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, can I interrupt?
Would you please step up here, please? That way you're on the camera.
There was one thing I sent out on my committee report on my own about reserving the clubhouse for any little special meeting, and I know all the board members kind of knew. You have to let me know a little bit ahead of time if you need a clubhouse, especially during the weekdays. You just can't have a meeting on short notice, because always gonna get kicked out. Also, on the weekends, the clubhouse is typically available. Saturdays and Sundays, there's no problem, but not all. And it's harder to reschedule those events on the weekends if you guys want to have a meeting on the weekends. So far, been okay, but I just want to give you a heads up about that.
Thank you, Buzz.
Question, but who updates the calendar on the website of what's happening here?
I do, but I leave that to Dick to put it in there.
Okay.
Though on the website, those are permanent scheduled activities and things going on. The other things that occur just occasionally, like on the weekends, I keep that myself on my phone. So you have to call me about the weekends and things like that. There are slots available on the weekdays where you guys want to have a special meeting. You look on the website, there's usually 2-hour blocks scattered around during the week.
Okay.
Under old business, first item is the treasurer's position. We're still looking for anyone who wants to step forward and work with Gail and learn the treasurer's job and possibly take over treasurer for the association. If we have to go outside and hire a treasurer, we don't at this time know how much that's going to cost. We've got a couple of leads that we want to talk to. However, even if we do that, you still have to have an in-house treasurer to oversee, because that is a contractor. It can be overseen by a member of the board as a treasurer, or a member of the organization known as a treasurer. So either way, we need somebody to step forward.
Ain't hard.
Oh, yeah. A comedian in every crowd.
I think Gail does a lot of things that a lot of people don't understand that he does as treasurer, but as he says, to me, it doesn't look like it's all that difficult. It might take a little learning.
Well, and it's not difficult, but it is time consuming.
Yes.
And especially when you get around, starting in January, when you've got the budget put to bed, we hope. And, I'm getting ready to send out annual invoices. And that period from month of January and basically to the third week in February, when the invoices actually get mailed, pretty busy time.
Gail has put together a very detailed list for somebody who would be interested in it, either here or, within our group, that delineates a lot of it. So it would be a lot easier because he's done that.
I'd be willing to volunteer for that. I'm a closet bean counter anyways.
Are you willing to take the treasurer's position?
No.
We have,
Let's think about it. Just kidding.
don't give her any more time, shall we?
Time's up.
Well, in that case, we welcome you with open arms.
That would be a
Nancy?
godsend.
And Gail, I think you did offer to work with whoever might step forward.
Yeah, first of all, I gotta read that user manual.
Hey, he just wrote it, he didn't, I appreciate that, Nancy, thank you very much.
That does come with great pay. I mean, probably
Oh, yeah.
figures out to, a penny an hour or something like that, but you do have.
I don't want to go into a higher tax bracket.
It does cover your, HOA fees.
Wow.
It's,
I didn't pay it anyway, my husband did.
I get paid it.
okay. Moving on, the next item on here, refers to some old bylaw amendments that were apparently presented, voted on, and accepted by previous administrations, but they were never recorded. So they're really not part of bylaws.
They were all that was withdrawn. That was that policy.
No, that's policies. These are actual bylaw amendments
Oh,
that were made and never entered into the bylaws as far as being recorded.
right. They never made it into formal registration.
No. So we,
No, that's the way.
well, that's what we have on here, so we just wanted to make sure that that's what happened to them, that they became null and void.
Which bylaw was it?
I think Jeff has.
One of the first ones was establish a regular monthly meeting date as the second Tuesday of each month. And I'm reading from the minutes. Eugene Turpin moved that the regular monthly meeting date is the second Tuesday of each month, passed unanimously. The other one was changes the annual election day from Thursday to the first week of May. Eugene Turpin moved that the word Thursday be replaced with to the first week in May, passed unannounced. Yeah, that word. And the other one that did not get passed requires a vote of 2/3 directors to spend funds on capital assets not fully funded or in excess of 40% of the total funds available. Eugene Turpin moved that the financial reserve policy to Article 12 add the board should review the financial reserve annually to make sure that the financial reserve fund is adequate. Passed unanimously. Those three did not.
What are those minutes?
That's from the March 11th
Okay.
meeting.
Got it.
Come by that.
We'll have to publish that they were rescinded, null and void.
Should you have a board vote on?
Well, was there any meeting or anything where they were rescinded? You know, of the,
Not that I can recall.
Just by the fact they were never registered. Makes them,
well,
they
let's,
aren't official.
yeah, that's the thing, they're not official. Anybody on the board like to make a motion as to what to do with them?
I make a motion that we, consider the bylaws, as Jeff has read them, null and void, as they were never voted on.
Well, they were voted on.
Never recorded.
Never
Never
recorded.
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 Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Next item is an MOA that was also signed by a previous administration that verbally we heard that it was going to be ignored, but we don't know what the real status of it is. I do have a call into the developer, and that's one of the items I want to ask him about on his side, and possibly find out, do we need to have a document signed rescinding that MOA, or just what the status is on it?
I think in a prior meeting, he indicated that he had never signed the MOA. And if I remember right, the board made a decision on at that meeting that it's not a memorandum of understanding was enforced.
Would you step up, please?
I think at a meeting that I was at, Tim indicated he had never signed the document. And at that meeting, the board made the decision that it was a null and void at that time, and it should have been in the minutes of the meeting.
We have an actual signed copy of it.
By Tim,
Yes.
he claimed during that meeting that he had never signed it, so I don't know how it got signed.
And what happened was that was signed before the meeting. You know, that, I don't know if Tim signed it or not, but Eugene signed it, and it says on there, this MOA is effective as of when both parties sign it. Then we had the meeting, and it was asked to accept it, but it was signed before anybody, right on the board, knew what was going on. So,
What was in the MOA?
I think it was 3 major points.
that was about fines. No, it's phase one.
Construction completion and maintenance of the fountain in the Holly Tree Pond, 4 entrance lights, and transfer of phase 1 common area deed.
Right.
And then as Rick, in the minutes, memorandum was signed by the developer and the HOA president on May 29, 2025. Developer will purchase and install 4 solar lights on the north side drive entrances to the neighborhood. He will also install a fountain in the Holly Tree Pond and deed phase 1 common area to the HOA. All to be completed by the end of 2025. Board members did not accept the proposed MOA, felt it should be divided into 3 respective MOA documents. Board President Turpin asked that all in favor of this proposal raise their right hands, 0. All those opposed, raise your right hand, 5. Memorandum of agreement proposal does not carry.
Good.
So the question is, because it was signed before that, is it a binding document?
I think that's,
I'll still ask the developer about it whenever I see him, and see if he wants to initiate a letter stating that he's not going to try to make it binding. Any discussion? Buzz, you've got a couple of issues with the sidewalk and the front facade of the porch out here. And I think you indicated that's been brought up to the board previously.
Well, just briefly, amongst other things, the trouble with this front here is, I could fix it, patch it up, but it needs to be, and I don't really know exactly what to do with it. It needs to be jacked up, stabilized, because it looks to me like the sidewalk, the upper part of that sidewalk is settled.
Okay.
And I don't know that it's a safety hazard, and I guess that's why I haven't really been harping on it too much, but you guys might want to, maybe you got a different opinion on that.
What I've noticed is that the brick facade on the porch floor is separated by some 3/4 to an inch.
Yeah, it's about at least 3 in part of it, and I think that's because it's sort of attached to that sidewalk that's.
Okay. But it's going to continue to separate, and every time it rains and freezes during the winter, it's going to open up further and further. So something will need to be done about it. Not sure just how soon.
Do you want me to go for a contractor or something?
I can give you the name of a couple of companies that have done floor raising. They've done it for me, and I'm very satisfied with their work. When you can get some estimates and see what it would cost.
I guess the other way to go is to demolish the sidewalk.
And he raises his hand.
Start over.
How do you want me to notify you? Because you guys can't see it. I can't.
I guess
Just watch me and I'll raise my hand.
Believe me, replacing it's more expensive than raising.
You say you have?
I do have one contact to give you for sure. And there's a lot of companies around that do that, so
All right, send me a text.
I'll do
David Shockey had his hand up and say something.
that. David?
David, can you hear us?
Sorry, it had to do with the previous discussion on that MOA. The real question is, was Gene ever given the authority to sign any such document? That would have had to have been approved prior to him even initiating any signature. And if the board did not approve him to proceed with that, then the document's not valid anyway.
Good point, but I don't know how we'd ever find out if it was voted on, because none of the board members are.
Well, Jeff and Liz, there was.
Liz, do you recall anything?
I do not recall us authorizing it beforehand.
Jeff, what about you?
I don't recall.
Yeah, but look under the bylaws, under the officer responsibilities. I believe there's sections in bylaws that allow the president to sign formal documents.
But
You
I
don't
think
have to
it,
do that here now, you can do that later.
yeah.
That's,
But he can't do that independently. He has to do that with consensus of the board.
Is that referring to, is that ability referring to emergency kind of situations as opposed to normal business?
in section 8, no, excuse me, Article 8, Section 8 is duties. The duties of the officers are as follows. President shall preside at all meetings of the board of directors, shall see that orders and resolutions of the board are carried out, shall sign all leases, mortgages, deeds, and other written instruments of the association, which an MOA is another instrument of the association. So there was no valid reason for a specific vote by the board to allow the president to sign MOAs.
I disagree. It certainly was
Well, then
because,
change the bylaws.
no, it's not. The president cannot act unilaterally. He cannot make a decision. Like Ed couldn't say, well, I'm going to change this thing tomorrow. I sign it and then I'll give it to the board. Doesn't make any sense.
Well, the board looked at that, I'm sure.
Well, no, but nobody on the board knew about it. So if
Excuse me, Gail, people remotely can't see you. You need to get up here so that people.
I'm done.
Well,
If I could add a comment, the signing of the document affects quite a few residents, and it also commits a financial and a legal liability on the HOA. So I'm sure that the bylaws don't allow for the president to make such an obligation without prior approval.
Exactly.
To answer your question, Dick, we really don't know if he had approval from anybody else or, even concurred with the board.
Well, we have two board members that were there that say he
They
did
don't
not.
recall anything.
Well,
As I said, that's another one of the items to ask the developer, and maybe we do need to create a document that makes that MOA null and void. Let me check into that at the first chance I get to talk to Mr. Wilson. Does that help, David?
David, did I answer your question?
Yeah, well, I understand that part. It's just that there's an awful lot of obligation in there that's not specified. And even if Mr. Wilson says he thinks it is, there's no specificity as to what really is to take place or what the financial obligations are or any of that. So it's really a pretty poorly written document in the first place. But if he were to say, yeah, it is active, we would have to enter into some kind of discussion with him to try to sort out all the details, because there are no details in here to explain anything. And then the other part of it, of course, is to find out what the financial obligations are. I will tell you, well, one of the issues on this Holly Tree Pond is it's still a part of the unfinished Phase 8. And in previous discussions, the HOA was not to take over any properties in an unfinished phase. So I don't know if that applies or not, but even though it talks about a fountain, in that prior meeting, the discussion from Eugene and others was that this MOA, the discussion was to take over the pond, which is a long way from being ready to be accepted by anyone. The construction is not completed. The drainage has not been fixed. There's a whole lot of problems with it before any such discussions ought to be entered into. So I would think that there would have to be in the minutes of the meeting somewhere back there. This would have had to have been brought up as a topic, discussed, and it had to have gotten some kind of approval before he proceeded. But I'll tell you also, I met with Tim twice during May. Not on this particular topic, but the pond came up because all of our residents down there were upset about the condition of the situation. At the time I met with him, which was before this, he was not in any way ready to do anything other than he had made a personal commitment to me that he would start trying to get that area cleaned up down there. And he told me that and I met with him the second time, that he had hired a person to come in with a dozer operator to do a lot of that. And he was hoping he'd be able to get it finished. But of course, weather played a big role in not getting it all done. But he was not in any way ready to talk about turning the pond over or doing anything other than cleaning it up and proceeding to improve things in mid-May. So why Eugene went to him on this, I don't have any idea.
So do you think if we, as a board, made a motion to rescind that and voted on it, would that somewhat take care of it?
Well, it's the same thing. You've got the same problem with Phase 1. Because again, I'm not sure how this it's kind of odd that these topics popped up and were put in an MOA. Kind of I can't follow the logic of why that came about. Maybe we could talk to Tim and find out how it came about, but
David, may I? This is Liz. The board had been invited to this meeting with Tim because we were dealing with the whole flap about DCRs. So we really weren't brought up to speed on anything entering the meeting, or at least I wasn't. I think that Eugene was still trying to get him to agree to allowing us to change some of the DCRs. And again, he restated from previous times that he would sue the HOA, that he was not allowing this. It almost seemed to me like this was some sort of a bone, a prize that Eugene could come out with something that was positive, even if he couldn't change the DCRs, that he wanted to come away with something. And to be honest with you, I felt like we were cursively dismissed at the end of the meeting, and Eugene and Tim were still talking. I didn't feel like we were really included in a lot of the conversation.
We go back to this, these minutes, on a special meeting held on May 27th. Memorandum of agreement. The memorandum was signed by the developer and the HOA president on May 29th, 2025. The developer will purchase and install 4 solar lights on the north side drive entrances to the neighborhood. He will also install a fountain in the Holly Tree Pond and deed Phase 1 common area to the HOA. All to be completed by the end of 2025. Board members did not accept the proposed MOA. Well, they should be divided into 3 respective MOA documents. Board President Turpin asked that all in favor of this proposal raise their right hands. 0 raise their hands. All those opposed, raise their right hand. 5 raise their hands. The memorandum of agreement proposal does not carry. So that MOA is, as far as I'm concerned, dead.
What's the date?
It's from the June 10th
Thank you.
meeting.
What was the date? What are the 2 dates? Signature and the meeting?
The signature's on the 29th.
What was the meeting date?
June 10th.
June 10th.
So, David, I think the MOA is a dead issue. I just wanted to try to clarify that for everybody concerned.
Sounds reasonable to me.
Yeah. Thank you, David. Okay. Under new, well, is there any other old business that any of the board members are aware of that needs to be brought up? Okay, under new business. Is there any new business that any of the board members?
What about the spillway washout was on the old business?
That's on new business.
Oh, that's under new?
Yes.
I have it under old, okay. I'm sorry.
Now, is there any new business that the board has that's not on the list already? Okay, nothing. There's 3 dead trees basically right adjacent to the pavement on the Gardens Drive to the north of the Dolphin Fountain. And they've been, according to Gary Barone, they've been discussed with Kevin Music from the city in the past, but nothing's been done about them yet. I will remind Kevin when I see him, hopefully this next week. He's to be out here for other reasons, which we'll come to in just a few minutes, and see if we can't get the city to take those down since they are on city property. Yeah. There's, looks like possibly 2 dead trees in the common areas. I said there was 1 in my report. That's directly behind the fourplex. That makes 5 trees right in one general area that are all of a sudden dead. Looks strange. Those 2 in the common area, those are going to be ours to take down if they need to be taken down. And I'm going to leave that to Chris Shield when he gets back from his vacation. The overgrown brush around the East Pond. David Deming, do you want to address that?
It wasn't.
was a bush, now it's become a tree, all twisted together with the limbs running every which way in it. The best thing is a chainsaw at the ground level and gone.
Okay.
What about the other
What
side?
about all the brush along the
And the east side of the
south
outside of the pond has some brush that needs to be taken care of. That at one time, some of the residents were told that if they were gonna do all this way down to the pond, they were supposed to take care of it. Well, that obviously has never happened. So now there's a lot of cleanup work down in there. And that is hard to get the stuff out of.
Well, there's been a turnover of ownership along that south side of the east pond. I would propose that maybe contact those property owners before we go in and just start clearing brush. Make sure that it's not something they're trying to propagate.
I doubt they're trying. It is overgrown to the point where you can barely walk.
Okay.
Ed, along that same line, I took the dog out, we were walking yesterday, and previous to this year, we had not had any growth. It seems to me that there was a guy with the pond company we were dealing with who had come and sprayed, but there is a lot of grass and weeds growing about around the edge of the North Pond in that riprap that has never happened before. Certainly not, anything that David's done because David's just taken this over, but,
I bitched to him yesterday.
okay. Well, like I said, I wasn't sure that it was really the responsibility of who was taking care of it now, but whoever was taking care of it didn't.
He's supposed to come back and make a pass around all the riprap.
Okay. Just because I know that, at some point it starts to grow when the water gets a little more shallow, but this is in the stones and it's gonna.
He's supposed to go around the riprap.
Okay.
We discussed it yesterday
Okay.
when we were talking about the fountain that's missing.
David, who's the E that's coming back?
Logan something.
With
Oh, grow with the flow.
The
aquatic?
aquatic people.
Aquatic control. Okay.
He found out that yesterday that he was dealing with me instead of Mr. Blackford.
Happy me.
I don't know. I told him point blank I wanted the fountain back here if it was fixed. And then I chewed him out about the weeds.
Thank you.
And the response was?
In the meantime, I want to thank David for carrying that 3-gallon backpack around the 2 ponds and spraying the weeds. So. Next item up was something that just kind of popped up. There's the possibility that we could have like the high school kids, like the FFA or some high school group.
Excuse me?
Do fundraisers all the time. And I'm wondering if it would be possible under our insurance coverage, if we was to contact some of these organizations, Boy Scouts, high school groups, Young Marines, I don't care who, just young people organizations that are looking for a fundraiser, if they would like to come into the gardens and do some menial tasks. No machinery involved whatsoever, no weed eaters, nothing like that. Just pull weeds or pick up sticks or, whatever it takes. And then us make a donation to their cause. It might be a way to help keep things cleaned up and not ask our older citizens to continue to do the tasks that we have done in the past. So.
I think sometimes the Boy Scouts, Cub Scouts, don't they, or can't they earn merit badges or stuff for doing community projects in there?
Yes, so I think the Boy Scouts can.
And I also think that some high schools, the students are required to do some community work, community service, as part of their requirement to graduate.
And would this just be for the common areas?
Yes, that would be just like all the area here that they pick up all the limbs and then stack them in one place and finally somebody carries them off. And we'd end up having to provide a pickup truck to haul the stuff away ourselves, not them. But at least have younger people walking the uneven ground and picking all this stuff up and putting it in one place. And that's just a thought, but we need to check with our insurance coverage. David, Tim?
Eagle Project has some of the stuff. If there's somebody going for the Eagle rank in Boy Scouts, there's a huge project that they have to do as community service along the way.
Okay. It'll be the Boy Scouts.
Ed, if you were to get involved in that, you'd want to make sure that the group adult leader was in charge of all of it.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, that and the HOA kind of say that's the task, but let that group leader, adult, whoever it is, manage it.
That's good point, David, thank you. But first thing is we need to contact Mr. de Blasio, I believe, is our insurance rep, and see if he can give us any light on whether there's a liability issue or if there is a coverage that would take care of it or not. Okay, now we come to the issue that you brought up, Sam, the spillway washout. It's actually city property, sort of, and sort of ours also, but the city has agreed that it is their problem since the washout affects the pavement. It is starting to underwash the pavement at the spillway down here. If everybody knows where the spillway is between the east and west ponds, it's on the north side of the spillway, the east side of the road. It has washed out in the past. The washout is a result of what we understand was the installation of the pipe for the Frontier Fiber Network. And the result of their digging in that area loosened all the soil, and now everything is washed out. All the rock and everything and dirt is all down in the creek. Kevin Music assured me that it was his responsibility to take care of it. And they gave me an idea of what they wanted to do. They want to farm it up for an embankment, kind of like a head wall, to the first so many feet down, and then the rest of it will be sloped with the natural slope into the creek. At the time they do this, they will reach into the creek with a machine and clean all the debris out of it. And then they will cap the entire east side of that spillway the same way that the west side was done this past year. So it will be equal on both sides. Both sides will look the same. However, the new cap will be extended considerably on both ends so that they prevent that washout in the future. Also, Kevin Music is looking at the culvert in front of 15 Gardens View Drive, which is between myself, well, it's actually in the common area between myself and my neighbor. That culvert underneath Gardens View Drive seems to be washing out quite a bit of sand and gravel. And I questioned if maybe the culvert itself had gone bad. Mr. Music seems to think the culvert is sound, but the inlet side is pretty well messed up. And again, a result of the Frontier Fiber installation. He has agreed to come in and repair the inlet side of that culvert, that culvert, and 4 new head wall on the inlet side, and clean out the culvert pipe underneath the roadway, and then monitor it to see if it continues to wash out. When they clean out the culvert, they should be able to tell if the pipe is defective. The third place that he's looked at, or I asked him to look at, was the creek culvert on the outlet of the North Pond. And that runs down and goes underneath Our Way Loop on the east side of the gardens. That area has been suspect for quite a while. and there are some large cracks where the pavement is starting to break off. And he was well aware of that, did not ask to go look at it again because he said he's seen it enough times. He and his lead worker both told me that they've been keeping a close eye on that. And if it does progress any worse, they have a plan to remove the large stones in the inlet and or a new head wall and put the stones back so it looks just like it did before. So.
You talking about Hawthorne Loop?
Yes, over by you. Yeah. I'm sorry, I said our way, look, it's Hawthorne Loop. I'm sorry. Got my loops mixed up again.
Got that a loop.
Well, I'm loopy. Is there any other items that need to be brought up as far as, is there anything else that needs to be brought to the city's attention that maybe we need to have them look at? See no hands up.
Hello. This is Maggie Arroyo. We live in front of the North Pond, and there is right on Gardens Drive, and there is a channel that goes in between our house and our grass mate, and that gets clogged occasionally when there's a lot of rain and it backs up into our yards. We have had to encapsulate because of this, as well as the creek that goes behind our house. So wanted to see, we've asked the city to come out, but they say that they're always too busy. Maybe that is something that you could bring up to that gentleman to take a look at.
Give me your address, Maggie.
471 The Gardens Drive.
I will look at that and see what we can do.
Thank you very much.
Anything else? Hey, we're still looking for the records, I guess prior to my coming onto the board. I don't find too many records of what's taken place. They don't know where any of the architectural request reports are. They've all seemed to have disappeared. The latest information in a file cabinet in the office is almost 10 years old. So it is a portion of our governing documents that we maintain records. And we don't know where they are or what was done.
Dick has a comment.
Dick?
And I probably have.
Oh.
Okay, I have an archive of stuff that was stored when I first took over the the website. I have an archive of a lot of documents. I don't know what's in it. There's a bunch of files in there.
All right.
Okay.
So I'll get those to you.
Thank you, Dick.
Or do you want them posted up on the website?
Let's take a look at them and see where we're at. We have received a email from a resident, and I think I'll let Jeff address it because I don't have it with me.
Well, we received a couple emails in regards to make an amendment to a bylaw. In regards, or in the section of Article 4, Board of Directors, term of office, Section 3, removal. That's the one that we changed where we allowed the community to do the voting for any open seats on the board. I have planned with putting together a proposed bylaw amendment. Something to the effect of any board member removed with or without cause by a majority vote of the membership shall be ineligible to serve on the board of directors for a period of 5 years. I don't know if that's something we need to discuss amongst the board, if we've got any feedback from the community.
I have a question.
Ernie?
Hi, did you say Bernadette? Or Bernie?
No, Ernie.
My question is, if the community voted to remove someone, why would they even be eligible ever to be back on?
There's nothing, I guess there's just nothing that says they can't. That's the only.
Is there any other comments from the audience? Any ideas or thoughts from any of the board members?
I agree with Ernie. It should never, once you're voted off, you should never be allowed back on again.
Right. I agree.
Should we put this as new business for the next meeting, or? Because it wasn't a new business.
No, it wasn't a new business. It's just something that came to our attention late, and we felt that we need to discuss. Dick?
And in a situation like this, is it useful to use the survey's capability of the website to get a community feeling about a proposal? Is that useful or not?
Very well could be, yes. So,
I'm going to suggest that we do that.
Okay.
Let's survey the community and, propose a language change and, or maybe two, this or that, and survey the community and see what the response is.
Would you make that a motion?
I will make that a motion.
I'll second it.
Who seconded it? Even
Liz.
Oh, Liz.
Liz.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Carried. Thank you, David. Okay, also I personally received a email from Don Homer. And apparently Don Homer was appointed as the planning and coordinating chairperson under previous administrations. And he was asked to continue on by Eugene Turpin. And he now wants to know if we, the board here, wants to keep him as a chairperson for that committee. Personally, I have no objections. Does anybody else?
No.
No.
I think it's a good idea to have one person dealing with Tim for the most part than the whole board attacking Tim.
My theory is that no more than two people should ever meet with Tim at one time. You walk in with 6 or 7 people and immediately he's going to be on the defensive. So, but if everybody's agreed, then we will consider Don Homer reaffirmed as the committee chairman for the planning and coordinating committee. Anything else that
Do we
anybody
have to
needs
vote on that?
No, the only one we have to vote on really is the architectural chair.
Let me be.
That position is mandated in the documents.
I believe it's nominating.
I was gonna say nominated.
Nominated, yes, you're right. Thank you, Dale. If nobody else has anything to add, any questions, comments?
I have a question.
Yes?
So, David Shockley, you started to say we have the same problem in Plot A when we were talking about the ponds. You never finished that sentence. Can you finish it?
Would you repeat that, please?
So when David Shockley was talking about the ponds, he mentioned that we had the same problem, I believe, in Plot A, or Plot 1. You started to talk and then you never went back to it to finish the conversation. I was hoping you could. Or let me
You,
put it,
Did you mean phase one?
or phase one.
Could you repeat your name, please?
Bernadette Brugman, Juniper Lane.
Oh, you're on Juniper.
what he was talking about was the riprap around the ponds, I think. And that all three
Yeah, we were
ponds have,
talking about the pond, and David
yeah.
was saying that we had similar problems in phase one. So David, can you finish that sentence?
David Shockey, did you say anything about the ponds in phase one?
I think maybe it was Dave, I think you were talking about,
Can we let David answer the question?
property ownership.
That's who it's supposed to.
We have a number of Davids. Which one?
David Shockey?
The only, the only thing I was referring to was the MOA, which talked about the HOA taking over the common area in phase one, not about the pond there. The only reference that I was talking to about the pond was the Holly Tree Pond, which is the construction and everything on that is far from being completed.
Okay, so has everything in phase one been turned over to the HOA that the HOA is maintaining? Let me ask the question that way.
No, it has
No.
not.
Whole common area.
I think that's a question for David, right? David Shockey?
No. No.
No, no. No, Ed, that was a part of that MOA that was null and void.
Phase one has not been released to the HOA.
Okay, and yet we do work there. All right, thank you.
All right.
We're only doing work of the common areas,
That's correct.
which the ponds are in.
Well, we still do the work in phase one housing.
The ponds are common areas.
Yeah, but the area where the houses are at in phase one, we've been maintaining as a result of MOA back 2013 or something like that.
I think,
Tim owns those.
Right.
to clarify for Bernadette, I think the ponds are HOA property, correct?
Yes,
And
we have 4 deeded properties.
Right, and
Right
so
now.
we do maintain around the ponds. That's
Right.
part of it.
The ponds and the perimeter up to a certain, like, I'd say 15 feet for the east pond for the north side. And that's, you got property lines for the people that live on Hickory Hollow Circle.
Yeah.
But the phase one area has never, ever been turned over to us. We've been trying to get Tim to do that for years and years and years. But so far, we don't have to pay taxes on it.
That's a good thing. And that's exactly what Mr. Shockey said, as he moved into the pool, fountain and pond discussion. Construction not completed and more that needs to be done in order to accept the property. Met with Tim twice in May to discuss pond and conditions at the time. Tim was not in any way ready to start trying to get that area cleaned up.
I think he was talking about Holly Creek Pond.
Yeah. He hired someone to get it finished, weather played a role in not getting it done. He was not ready to turn the pond over to the HOA. Then he continues with same problem with phase one, taking over the common area.
Yes. Okay. Maybe that was the confusion.
Right.
Yeah.
There's no pond in phase one.
No. Correct.
Bernadette, did they clear it up, or do you still have a question?
That cleared it up a little bit, but that's okay. We can just move on.
If it would do any good, one of the board members or whatever would be willing to meet with you and explain or show you exactly what we're talking about.
I may take that up. Thank you.
Yes, just let us know. Okay, with that, the next regular board meeting will be held September 9th, 2025 at 9:30 a.m. at the clubhouse. And with internet willing, will be virtual and real time. Nothing else? Would move for a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned. Thank you all for coming.
You have it.